today's post, we're going to head over to CrossFit Hell's Kitchen, New York City Barbell Club, for a demonstration of how to use elastic bands to improve your split jerk.
That is bend. What this does is this teaches speed under the bar and positioning. Okay? With this, since you're working against the bands, the faster and harder you try to push up on the band, the faster and harder it is going to pull back up against you. So what has to happen on this is you cannot push this up. You have to drive yourself underneath. Because if you try to push it up, you're pushing up against it, it's going to push back against you. So you've got to be fast underneath. The other thing you're going to find is that your positioning on this is going to have to be damn near perfect in order to be able to catch this the right way. What you'll find first is as you come up and out and get yourself in the right position, you've got to get yourself lined up properly with the bands for your setup. So as you come up and out and you bring this back, you're going to find out automatically where you need to be because that band needs to be perpendicular to the floor. If I'm too far forward, it's going to start pulling back. If I'm too far back, it starts to pull me forward. So when you bring this bar up off the ground, as soon as you come up now, you're going to get yourself aligned properly. So you come up, get yourself aligned. Now, positioning, notice the elbow position. I have my elbows up. I've got the bar over the shoulder, deep into that pocket, half choking. Okay? My feet are turned out. As I dip, my knees are pressed out as well. So my dip is a shallow dip. This has to be straight up and down also. If I dip and I lean to the front, it's going to pull me to the front. So if my feet are too forward and I don't press my knees out and I go to dip, automatically it's going to start to pull down. So if my feet are turned out, I press my knees out, I can keep my elbows up and I can drive from there. Part of the reason why I have you guys about keeping the elbows up high, keeping the bar in contact with the shoulder. Because if we go to dip and drive and the bar is not in contact with the shoulder, then what ends up happening is you're going to feel that bar start to slide. Now, when we drive up, we've got to make sure we're driving straight up as well. If I drive the bar forward, it's going to pull down to the front. If I drive the bar back, it's going to lead to disastrous results. So we've got to make sure that we're driving straight up and down. Split of the feet. We know that as we come up, back foot is moving back and out, front foot is moving up and forward. Front shin needs to be straight up and down. Knee underneath hip, hip underneath shoulder, shoulder underneath load. Back foot needs to be turned in. Back foot cannot be turned down. So I turn that back foot out, I'm going to land too solid. What happens a lot of times is that back leg is turned out, you'll try to do a jerk, it ends up stiff here. Because remember, as you're driving up, these are the bar, but this is much less forgiving. As you're driving up the bar, you're creating weightlessness in that bar. If you land and lock perfect underneath that weightlessness, eventually that bar starts to come down again. When it comes down again, you've got to be able to absorb that impact. If that back leg is straight, you can't absorb the impact. Instead of this is much less forgiving. So you've got to get underneath. Recovery, of course, you're going to find out exactly where you have to recover as well, which is going to be front foot moves first, then back foot comes up. Because if you're off on your recovery, you're going to waver back and forth. You're going to find out where it's going to pull you. So go ahead and do this again. Positioning, knees underneath. Right back to center. On the way down to the bar, I bring the bar right back down into that rack position. Cannot bring the bar to the front. Got to bring it right back down into that rack. When you guys start on this, I'm going to have everybody start with a purple band. Light as possible, just to get a feel for it. Make sure your positioning is good. Move on to the red one. Positioning is good in that. And then move on to the blue one. Okay? Make sure you're getting underneath quickly. Make sure you are landing and locking. Do not try to press out. You will not be able to press out.